Don't expect me to tip on me buying one White Claw. I'm not going to tip 20%. I'll give you $1.
Oh, never worked in the service industry. I can tell.
I haven't. If I'm being waited on, I will absolutely do the 20%.
When is this country going to finally take a stand against restaurant owners, business owners, other people, and say, tip culture's enough, pay your employees a livable wage so we don't have to cover their salary? Unfortunately, I don't think it's going to happen like it does in the rest of the world, because these restaurant owners, business owners, people like that have figured out how to get you and I to pay their bills for them.
I didn't tip a Jets Pizza employee, and her response when I clicked the button on the machine was, "Oh, thanks. Ma'am, you did not deserve a tip. Your service was trash. I waited an hour and 6 minutes for something that they told me would be 25 to 30. And believe me, like, I was so kind the whole time. I was like, no worries. Like, I'll keep waiting. I was there with both of my kids and they were definitely not behaving. So it was a little stressful. But I'm like, you really thought that I was going to give you a tip? No, ma'am. That's crazy.
Yeah, they get upset without tips. If you're waiting an hour and 10 minutes for a pizza, 2 kids, impatient, yeah, the tip's probably going away.
There is no tipping culture in Italy. There is zero obligation to leave a tip. So even if you're eating out at a restaurant, a really nice restaurant, or getting a coffee, anything that requires service, you don't have to tip. There is a high enough working wage in Italy where the waiters, waitresses, anyone in the service industry does not rely on tips like they do in the US. So no, you do not have to tip, but I always recommend leaving like a €5 tip for the table if you enjoy your service and have a nice experience. I was a waitress in Italy for 5 years and always appreciated getting tips. Now they're not required, so if I didn't get them, I wasn't upset, but it did feel really good to just know my service was appreciated.
Yep, and that is pretty much how the entire world operates, except for the United States. It's wild. The other problem, like in Japan, over in the Asian countries, they see it almost as disrespectful to leave them a tip because they're paid to do a job for you. So something to keep in mind when we're talking about tip culture here in the US. The rest of the world, they don't do it.
When I found out California servers make good wage, I felt cheated and lied to. Every time I visited California, I'm out here 20%, love you, queen, 20% on top of the tax, the California tax, just to find out these MFs are making bank. Like, if you guys are from California or live in California, do you guys tip 20%? Like, let me know. Like, y'all still be tipping 20%? Because I know as someone from Michigan, my mom is like the biggest Karen, right? And like we will have like a server that my mom just bitches at the whole time, but she always tips 20%. Even if she's like, this server was awful, she'll always tip 20%, just because it's like instinctual, I guess, in Michigan. But in California, do y'all do that in California too? Let me know. And if you're a server in California, let me know how much you be taking home. I know like it's more expensive to live there, but is it like worth it to move there and become a server?
Those are all fantastic questions. You people that live in California, do you tip 20% because they make more money? Like here in Florida, they're paid $3.50 or $4 an hour, whatever it is, $3.58, $4.08. And if they're being paid $20 an hour out in California, are you guys still tipping that 20%? How does that work out west? I don't live there. I live in Florida here on the East Coast. I lived here for 21 years almost. Let me know in the comment section. How does it work in California or out west where they pay these livable wages?
On a to-go order, what's the ratio of people that tip and don't tip?
2 out of 6.
2 out of 6 tip. To-go window people make different than servers out there.
Yes.
So the servers are $2.30 something an hour,
Yes.
right?
And then
so what does a...
It's like around 8 something.
Do you have to tip out? Like they have to tip out if you get tips?
No, our tips is our tips.
But yet they have to tip out too, right?
Yeah.
Do you have to tip out?
No.
What is their tip out percentage?
I don't know.
So you get to keep all the money,
Yes.
but they don't.
I don't know. I don't know if they keep out their. I don't know, but I know.
I know that a lot of times, like server will have to tip out like 3% of their whole tab.
I don't know if they do that here, but.
So to-go is a little bit different.
Yes.
So then on a to-go order, what's the ratio of people that tip and don't tip?
Quite a lot. I mean, it's not quite a lot. Like usually people like will put like $1 or $2, like something like that.
Just a little bit.
Yeah, but most of the time we get like DoorDashes, which we don't get.
Yeah, you don't get anything.
Yeah, but if it's like a pickup and they decide to tip, that's out of like,
What's the ratio of how many people tip to how many people don't tip on a to-go order?
like 2 out of 6.
2 out of 6 tip. Thank you.
Thank you.
That's an interesting topic. So you got a waiter making $2.38 who gets these big 20% tips, but they got to tip out the back of the house. The line cooks and the bus boys and probably the hostess too gets a little bit. And then you've got a to-go girl who makes $8 or $9 an hour, whatever the minimum wage is in that particular area. And they get to keep all of their to-go tips. Now, however, all the DoorDash, Uber Eats don't tip because they're being tipped on the app, so there's no tip for them to collect at the restaurant. So it's only when somebody calls in and comes and picks up their order or curbside to go or whatever. But those people generally aren't going to leave you 20% on a $50 meal that they're picking up. They're not leaving $10. They're going to leave you $1 or $2 or $3. I did this at Chili's just the other week. We picked up food for 2 of us. It was like $39, right around $40, right? And I think I left $4. I think it was like $40.10, and I left like $4.90. I made it like $45 even. Now, some people say, I'm cheap. You didn't do 20%. Well, I didn't get served. I had to get my own food. The fact that I left her 10% is actually pretty generous in my opinion. What do you think?
I shouldn't use the driveway to deliver the waters. So I just got to deliver the waters, and she's saying I ran her plants over. I mean, maybe I cut this off backing into this driveway, but I have all these waters.
So you can't come in my driveway and scrape the plants. You don't need to pull up into my driveway to deliver the water. The pillars there are very tight. It's really problematic to pull into the driveway. In general, I don't think that to deliver the stuff, you should be using the private driveway. You should be,
So I shouldn't use the driveway to deliver
you should probably
the waters.
the private property legally for safety reasons.
Got it. I will stay off the property, ma'am. Have a good day.
Okay. He definitely clipped the plants. You could see he was angled there. He should have been a little more careful. But let's talk about Karen here, ordering 480 bottles of water. I'm assuming those were the 48 count, so she ordered 10 of them, 10 cases of water, and she wants them to park down on the street and walk them up. You're paying somebody to deliver that kind of material, that kind of food, water, drink, whatever. Have a little common courtesy. As a driver, be careful. Don't hit any of their stuff, but holy Karen.
I will not be tipping you to make me a sandwich, and I will definitely not be tipping you to make me my coffee. Tipping culture nowadays is so weird. Like, people are just asking for tips when they're already doing their job description. Like, if you're asking me to tip at Subway, your job description is to literally make me a sandwich. So you're not doing anything that's above and beyond, anything that's extraordinary, or anything that I can't do myself. I'm not even talking about like servers or like bartenders or, you know, people who will actually get paid minimum wage and most of their income depends on tips. I'm not talking about those people. I'm talking about even these quote unquote small businesses that be asking you to tip when you've already spent hundreds of dollars with them. Like, what doesn't make sense to me is that you're asking for a tip for doing something that is in your job description, something you signed up for, and you're getting paid hourly. So I can make my own sandwich, I can make my own coffee. Hell, I think they're even charging tips at the post office.
Okay, so technically a bartender's job description is make drinks, right? So they're being paid to do what they're told to do, just like a sandwich maker at Subway is job description to make sandwiches. But we tend to think of the service industry as waiting on you, servicing you, as more work than just make your sandwich, hand you your sandwich. Bartender has to make your drinks, hand you your drink. It's sort of the same, and I would, in fact, argue it's easier to pour, even if somebody comes in and goes, hey, can I get a rum and Coke? Yeah, great. Rum, 2, 3, 4, done. Psh, Coke, here you go. As opposed to, can I get a ham and turkey with Swiss with, let me get the mayos, a little bit of... It's actually easier to be a bartender. So why are bartenders the ones getting tipped all this money and we're not tipping a sandwich maker? The argument is full circle, right? This is why we have to do away with tip culture. And everybody gets a paycheck. You get paid to do the job you're doing, and that's the end of it.
Apparently, restaurants can set the amount that they want you to tip. So take a look at this machine. It says 40%, 50%, 100%. Like, are you for real? Like, most places like 10%, 15%, 20%, and then the custom on the bottom. But I feel like restaurants have gotten like out of control. It even has words like so, good, like a 30 or 40% tip. I mean, that's phenomenal. Most people would say that's absolutely phenomenal. I've heard of so many stories of waiters and waitresses getting mad. Yes, there are some people that might only tip $1 or not tip at all. But to like have this as a norm, 40%, 50%, signs that say if you don't tip at least 25% or 30%, you can't eat out. But what do you think about this? These are literally the buttons already pre-programmed in the machine. I think that's crazy.
Yeah, I think that's crazy too. If you remember back, it was like 10, 15, 18% at one point. Now it's like 15, 18, 20. And in some places I see 18, 20, and like 22% or 23%, which is what it is at my local lagoon. And it just seems to me they keep moving the goalpost. They keep just inching it up just to see what they can get. It comes back to my full circular argument. They're greedy and they're just trying to see how much they can pull out of us, penny pinch us, nickel and dime us, just keep squeezing it until there's nothing left to squeeze. And this country is getting to the point of being all squeezed out.
The server gets $100. They give 20% to the back of the house. That's what the servers want to give up in my area. I don't know how everybody else do it. I know there's tip pooling and all that stuff. Bottom line, they're going to give the back of the house 20%. So the back of the house gets $20 and there's 5 to 10 people back there. So that $20 gets split up 5 to 10 ways. And you're gonna say, yeah, but there's 6 servers giving them $20. Okay, cool. So first server ends up with $80 and the cook ends up with $20. By the time it's all said and done, everybody split up their stuff. Now, I don't know who was working harder. If you ask me, it was the back of the house, because the only way that server got all that food to that table is because the back of the house got it done. Tips are an incredible unfair situation in society. So I don't know how that works out, but I know that's the way we've gotten in society.
Okay. Great question. As far as the tip out goes, how much should the servers be given the back of the house, the cooks and the bus boys and maybe even the hostess or whoever we're counting in this tip pool? They're saying they're getting 20%, which seems high to me because I always hear they give them like 5% or 10% at most. I've never heard 20% is crazy. I can't imagine that the waiters and waitresses anywhere are giving up 20%. If they are, I don't think they'd be working there. I'm pretty sure here our VIP bartenders and our VIP servers give up 10%. So 5% goes to the kitchen crew. I think like 3% goes to the runners, the people that grab the food and the thing and drop it off and the drinks. So that's 8%. And then the other 2% I think goes to the company. They collect 2% on that extra. So 20% would be a huge amount to give up.
Don't expect me to tip on me buying one White Claw. I'm not going to tip 20%. I'll give you $1.
Oh, never worked in the service industry. I can tell.
I haven't. If I'm being waited on, I will absolutely do the 20%. But to open up a White Claw for me and expect 20%? No.
Yeah, maybe we disagree there.
Well, part of it I agree with. Like, if you're just cracking a beer and handing it to me, why am I giving you 20%, right? But in theory, a beer is what? $5, $6? I'm giving you $1. He just said, I'll give you $1, which is technically 20%. A mixed drink, that's going to run you $10 or $12. Well, then they want $2 to $3 for a mixed drink, which is generally, when you hear the interviews of every bartender, $1 for a beer, $2 for a mixed drink. That's typically about 20%. A $5 beer, 20% is $1. $10 drink, 20% is $2. So what do you think? Is that the fair amount, or should we not be tipping these bartenders like that for just literally, here's your beer, sir.
Why am I being asked to tip 20% for someone to hand me a pizza? I went to go pick up my pizza, $20 pizza at a takeout pizza place, and I was asked to tip 20%. And when I declined to tip, I felt awkward because I got a look from the cashier. Listen, I'm not anti-tipping. I just don't understand why we're being asked to tip on basic services that we never were before. I get it if I'm sitting down at a restaurant and a server's coming up and they're catering to me, but when I'm going to pick up something that used to never have a tipping service and now there is, I'm just really confused. What's going on? I kind of feel like if your employer's not paying you a living wage, then why are you working there? Does anyone else think tipping culture has just gone too far?
Yeah, the entire basis of this video and a lot of the videos I make and a lot of the shorts, if you've never seen my short form content, go check it out. Just click the little shorts and the reels button. You can also see it on Facebook, which is a great place to watch it, or TikTok, is that tipping culture should not be a thing. The whole basis of these videos is that we need to get rid of tipping culture. I'm going to take a poll in the comment section from all of you guys. Just let me know in 1 or 2 words in the comment section. Should we keep tipping the way it is and allow people to make money and let people tip? Or should we find a way to pressure these business owners and restaurant owners to do away with the tip culture altogether and just pay these bartenders and waitresses and waiters whatever it is, $20, $25 an hour, and just be done with everything else? Now, I will say, as part of my input to that, there are a lot of waiters that work at nice places, do a great job, and they work an 8-hour shift and they make $400 or $500. Well, I'm not real good at math. I kind of am, but if they work an 8-hour shift and they make $400, I think that's $50 an hour in tips, plus they get their $2 an hour, whatever. So they're making $52 an hour. And if all of a sudden you told them they're going to make a flat 20 bucks an hour or even $25 an hour, they're probably going to quit. So let me know in the comment section. Also, if you're a server, bartender, service industry, waiter, whatever it is you are, let me know that too as well down there in those comment sections. I want to know how many of those folks we have watching these videos that have a really vested interest in this topic. And as always, thank you for taking the time to watch and leaving me one of those comments. You can also hit that like button. It helps the algorithm and I really appreciate it. Until the next one, enjoy the rest of your day and I'll see you guys next time.